George Galloway make a difference in Parliament today? Because Labour, Tory, same old story. Labour, Tory, same old story.
So can you tell us why the Workers' Party is out here today?
The Workers' Party identifies that the only way to stop the genocide is to be heard. And we're currently trying to mobilise candidates to fight in the elections because there's nobody in this country in Parliament who's actually speaking on behalf of the Palestinian people to defend them against the genocide that has already been proven by the International Court of Justice as far as we're concerned. And that's what we're fighting for, and that's why we're here. We want our voice heard. And we know that our leader George Galloway can do that, and we're looking forward to a Rochdale victory which will make all the genocidists in Parliament, outside of Parliament, understand that we're not going to tolerate it any longer.
And do you have other people running across the country? Or do you have other people preparing to run in the
We are in discussions with many independents around the country, plus we have some candidates of our own that we want to field. But where we see the possibility of unity on this action against this genocide, we're willing to work with practically anybody who agrees to a minimum programme, but primarily we have to stop the genocide.
Ironically, that's one of a positive thing that's come out of this whole event is a willingness amongst people to band together against the genocide and to put pressure on the government. So you may have more support than I would expect you would have a lot of support. Are you feeling that support?
We are feeling that support, and we can see that there is growing support all the time. We are the fastest growing left wing, if we can still use that term, party, and we're encouraged by the type of people who are also joining us, from basic, simple, unpolitically educated people who are ordinary workers but who will not tolerate the genocide, and the same as members of the Labour Party who are defecting from the Labour Party because they're not willing to stand for the genocide. And this is the marker. This is what's happened in the world today. The genocide in Gaza against the Palestinian people, also in Jerusalem and the West Bank. Everywhere where there are Palestinians, there is a genocide. And the marker is you're either for it or you're against it. And we can see that this has touched a chord in the humanity of people. And people are generally saying, no, this is not good, this is evil, we want to oppose it. And that's why we're starting to grow. And we're growing quickly.
And what kind of, so you think that you're optimistic about George Galloway's chance in the election? When is it, the 26th or the 29th?
It's on the 29th of February. We're always optimistic. George Galloway is a very powerful leader. He's represented the Palestinian people for more than 50 years, and many, many people know that. Many people also know that he is a socialist and that he has always stood for justice as an MP. And he's always stood for socialism as an MP. And these are the solutions that we need now. We need a free Palestinian state that's protected internationally. We need economic and political change in this country because it is a failed political and economic system. And the only alternative is socialist. And we wish to unite as many groups of the left together on a common platform. We have a 10-point programme that any sensible socialist and an ordinary, uneducated politically worker will understand those 10 points very, very well. And we are uniting people on those bases. A free Palestine, stopping the genocide, and establishing a socialist government in this country.
Thank you. The one, well, I don't know if it's discouraging or just predictable thing is that far from having an impact on the government so far, it seems to be getting worse and worse. So like the withdrawal of funding from UNRWA was just like on the day that the decision came out from the ICJ, it was just sort of like jaw-dropping. I mean, it's just inconceivable that you would take money away from a humanitarian organization, you know. It's just extraordinary. I mean, I don't know what your feeling is about that.
My feeling is very, very clear, and you'll find that understanding within the Workers' Party. It's the most tremendous blunder that they have made to date. They are clearly complicit in the starvation, the dehydration, the annihilation of the Palestinian people. This is what it's about. Everybody has understood now that the agencies which are providing the crucial services for life for the Palestinians are being shut down because they failed to do it militarily. They see this as a quicker solution because the cost of the Zionist military operation is too high. And so they have resorted to this, and also as a warning to those countries who have supported the decision of the International Court of Justice to frighten all the other states to see what can also be done to them. And it's quite possible for the Western forces which are behind this genocide, because now it's not just the military, now it's just not blockade, now it's the privation of those services of an agency that has served legally the Palestinians since 1948.
Great, thank you.
I mean, given that Labour could lose 30 seats in areas which are predominantly Muslim or where there's high Muslim populations, I mean, they're on a high-risk trajectory as well. So what is behind their stubborn support for Israel and genocide?
It's the last, they are performing their last card. They don't have any more tricks to use. They're literally falling apart and not knowing how to deal with this situation because it's completely out of control now. And the only possibility that occurs to me is that they're playing for all, and that is to say that they're willing possibly to go into a third world war because the NATO and US commanders actually believe in the feasibility of a first strike. That is the doctrine of NATO and the United States, first strike capability, and it's unbelievable that they still believe that, especially in the context of hypersonic weapons that are held by China, by Russia, by North Korea, possibly by Iran as well. They are on the losing side. They don't know what they're doing. Their systems are collapsing politically, economically and socially, ideologically, in every single way. And it's now the time for everyone to unite, to understand that this must all be brought to an end in order to salvage not only the Palestinian people, but the whole of humanity. And that's really what's at risk, and that's why we need to unite with everybody.
Protect British working classes from war